COVID-19. What is it? Where did it originate from? How has it affected the world? Let's know the answers to these questions. The origin of COVID-19. Coronavirus disease 2019, known as COVID-19, is a contagious disease caused by a virus. The severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2. The first cases of this respiratory viral illness were reported in Wuhan, Hubei province, China in late December 2019. After that, SARS-CoV-2 rapidly disseminated across the world in a short period, compelling the World Health Organization to declare it a global pandemic on March 11, 2020. Severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, is a novel severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. It was first isolated from 3 people with pneumonia connected to the cluster of acute respiratory illness cases in Wuhan. SARS-CoV-2 is closely related to the original SARS-CoV. COVID-19 is a zoonosis, a human disease of animal origin. Genetic analysis has revealed that the coronavirus genetically clusters with the genus Beta coronavirus in subgenus Sarbecovirus lineage B together with 2 bat-derived strains. It is 96% identical at the whole genome level to other bat coronavirus samples. What are the symptoms of COVID-19? The symptoms of COVID-19 are variable depending on the type of variant contracted, ranging from mild symptoms to critical and possibly fatal illness. Common symptoms include coughing, fever, loss of smell and taste, with less common ones including headaches, nasal congestion and runny nose, muscle pain, sore throat, diarrhea, eye irritation, and toes swelling or turning purple. People with COVID-19 infection may have different symptoms, and their symptoms may change over time. 3 common clusters of symptoms have been identified. 1 respiratory symptom cluster with cough, sputum, shortness of breath, and fever. A musculoskeletal symptom cluster with muscle and joint pain, headache, and fatigue. A cluster of digestive symptoms with abdominal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. In people without prior ear, nose, or throat disorders, loss of taste combined with loss of smell is associated with COVID-19 and is reported in as many as 88% of symptomatic cases. Symptoms may begin 1 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. At least a third of people who are infected do not develop noticeable symptoms. Of those people who develop symptoms noticeable enough to be classed as patients, 81% develop mild to moderate symptoms, while 14% develop severe symptoms that are dyspnea, hypoxia, and more than 50% lung involvement on imaging, and 5% develop critical symptoms that are respiratory failure, shock, or multi-organ dysfunction. Older people are at higher risk of developing severe symptoms. Some people continue to experience a range of effects known as long COVID for months after recovery, and damage to organs have been observed. The total number of variants. According to World Health Organization, 13 notable variants of SARS-CoV-2 have been found, named Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, and Omicron. Number of cases and deaths to date because of COVID-19. 228 countries and territories around the world have reported a total of 573,990,303 confirmed cases of COVID-19, and 6,401,342 people have died so far from the COVID-19 outbreak as of July 23, 2022. Highest number of deaths in a country because of COVID-19. 1,051,912 people have died so far from COVID-19 in the United States of America, reporting it to be the highest number of deaths because of COVID-19 to date. Impact of COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide and presents an unprecedented challenge to public health, food systems, and the world of work. The economic and social disruption caused by the pandemic is devastating. Tens of millions of people are at risk of falling into extreme poverty, while the number of undernourished people, currently estimated at nearly 690 million, could increase by up to 132 million by the end of the year. The failure to control the COVID-19 pandemic has had far-reaching impacts on the global economy, with global GDP falling by 3.3% in 2020. Even with the global economy projected to grow by 6% in 2021, recovery will depend on equitable distribution of the vaccine globally. Failure to do so could cost the world economy up to $9 trillion, according to the International Chamber of Commerce, with the costs borne equally by wealthy and poor countries, causing more economic devastation than the 2008 financial crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic erased the equivalent of 255 million jobs in 2020. Losses were particularly high in Latin America and the Caribbean, Southern Europe, and Southern Asia. Millions of enterprises face an existential threat. Nearly half of the world's 3.3 billion global workforces are at risk of losing their livelihoods. Informal economy workers are particularly vulnerable because the majority lack social protection and access to quality healthcare and have lost access to productive assets. Without the means to earn an income during lockdowns, many are unable to feed themselves and their families. The situation of COVID-19 pandemic now and vaccination. The first COVID-19 vaccine was granted regulatory approval on 2 December 2020 by the UK medicines regulator MHRA. It was evaluated for emergency use authorization status by the US FDA and in several other countries. A total of 12,219,375,500 vaccine doses have been administered for the immunization from COVID-19. However, immunity from the vaccines has been found to wane over time, requiring people to get booster doses of the vaccine to maintain immunity against COVID-19. Preventive measures are being taken, and life has adjusted itself to the chaos of pandemic. Prevention is better than cure. Preventive measures to reduce the chances of infection include getting vaccinated, staying at home, wearing a mask in public, avoiding crowded places, keeping distance from others, ventilating indoor spaces, managing potential exposure durations, washing hands with soap and water often and for at least 20 seconds, practicing good respiratory hygiene, and avoiding touching the eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. Is the blame on China? Since the first cases of COVID-19 were reported from Wuhan, China, turning into a global pandemic, China has been getting all the hate for it. It has further added fuel to the Asian hate in the West. But China has been refuting to be the host of the said virus, saying that the later outbreaks of the virus, even in China, are caused by imports. Saying Beijing's first Omicron infection was a woman who handled a letter from Canada that led local officials in the southern city of Guangzhou to order all residents who got overseas mail over a 4-day period to get tested, and the State Post Bureau to warn people to be extra careful with parcels. While work is underway to develop drugs that inhibit the virus, the primary treatment is symptomatic. Management involves the treatment of symptoms, supportive care, isolation, and experimental measures. What do you think about COVID-19 pandemic? Let us know in the comments. If you found the video informative, do like the video and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.